Today's guest has been described as arriving fully formed in her mid 20s. Her debut album was recorded in 12 days, reviewed across 3 continents, and called a masterpiece in gentle chamber folk. She's performed from Seattle to Atlanta and from the Bay Area to Chicago and in the UK. She won the 2025 New Song Showcase at the Walnut Valley Festival. Today, we find out what it looks like to build a creative career rooted entirely in radical vulnerability and the courage to let people all the way in. Remember, you can't release what you will not finish, and you can't finish what you won't start. Let's start the evolution. Can we do it? Lauren Oxford, I am so excited that you're here.
Shucks. I'm so excited to do this.
Thank you so much for letting me come to your home and sit at your kitchen table with you.
You're very welcome. Hopefully the cats won't get too creative during our interview.
Well, the creativity is welcome. So let's just dive right in.
Okay.
So we're going to talk about your path. Tell us who you are and how you would describe yourself as a creative and as a songwriter.
Okay. Well, you know my name. My first album came out in 2022, so I'm no longer in my mid-20s. I'm now 30. And I would say that I am so singer-songwriter is a very wide umbrella. There are lots of egregious crimes that have been committed under the singer-songwriter moniker, but I would say that my music is more on the folk side, but with a lot of influence from like jazz and classical and even some prog. And I kind of jokingly call myself a singer-song confessor. Like I love to excavate my deepest traumas and serve them up on a silver platter to people
Yeah,
in the hopes that like there can be some connection, because I have found that there usually is.
there absolutely is. And the fact that we're taking our diary and just shoving it in people's faces with our songs, that comes deep within our soul. So
Yeah.
you're bound to connect with somebody.
Yeah.
You describe yourself as lush orchestral folk meets earnest heart first songwriting. Where does that sound come from and how did it develop?
Well, I mean, if you pick up an acoustic instrument, you're already kind of gonna have a sound, a guitar, or in rare cases like a banjo or a ukulele. And I have always just loved, I mean, I grew up listening to a fair bit of classical music and like a whole bunch of genres, but my favorite thing in songs was always when there were orchestral elements present. So kind of the chamber prefix to any genre of music: chamber folk, chamber rock, chamber pop. And I kind of always wanted my music to sound like that. I didn't ever want it to just be me and a guitar the whole time. And I have so many awesome musical friends who play so many different instruments that it's a lot more fun when you're playing with other people and you can bounce off of each other and connect, and it elevates everything to me.
It truly does. It really does. And I, with as many people that you do know and as many people that know you, I'm not surprised that you can find those sort of connections in the music.
Yeah.
So you use alternate tunings to create unexpected chords and colors. When did you start experimenting with that? And what does it give you that standard tuning cannot?
Well, I think a lot of AFAB people, we just kind of have smaller hands, and 6 strings is a lot.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of just too many strings, in my opinion. We only have, 4 fingers and a thumb. So 6 is like, what are we doing here? Like I said, I love jazz and classical, and I would say that like Joni Mitchell is probably my blueprint. And I read somewhere that she actually got polio as a child.
Oh, no.
And it left her hands really weak, which is why she kind of did all of her alternate tunings, because then she could get the kind of complexity that she wanted in her songs without the awful bar chords. And That's what I love about alternate tunings, is that you can get gorgeous colors and just really, really surprising voicings really easily.
Yeah.
I'm completely self-taught, and so picturing the fretboard is like a mystery to me. I don't know what's going on there. And standard just feels like there's only so many chord shapes I can physically make, and they're all pretty like fairly straightforward
Yeah.
chords. And so I don't know, I just find that alternate tunings, they're fun for me. It's
Yeah.
kind of like fuck around and find out on the
Right.
fretboard. Like I just put my fingers in random places and I get these gorgeous chords and I don't know what they are, but they just feel right. And so much of my songwriting comes from a place of intuition, so it makes a lot of sense to me to play guitar in that way.
Yeah. And it definitely is FAFO.
Yes, for sure.
I completely understand. I've noticed with myself because I'm not a guitarist. I'm a singer who sometimes plays guitar.
Mhm.
And I figured out when I'm transposing to my range and my voice, it's very much FAFO. Because I'm
Yeah.
like, what does this sound like? What is that? It's a lot of experimentation and I love it.
Yeah.
So your debut album was recorded in just 12 days, and reviewers said you arrived fully formed in your mid-20s. What was that recording experience like, and how did you pull it off so quickly?
In college, I met a friend named Kat, and she was involved with this thing called filk. So that's like the word folk, but with an I. And it is music in the acoustic and folk tradition that grew out of science fiction and fantasy fandom in like the mid 20th century. And so what that means basically is a bunch of nerds get together and we sing songs about like Lord of the Rings and Star Trek and Star Wars and space exploration and cats and politics. And filk is a genre, and that's one definition of the word, but it is also a community, and that's the other definition. And so, kind of anything that is played in a folk circle is folk. So, my kind of more traditional folk songs are still technically folk because I'm in the community. And so, there are different conventions throughout the world, and we all kind of descend on a hotel for a weekend and just do song circles and concerts and everything. So that's kind of how I met my main musical friends. We kind of informally call ourselves the shenanigators because there's always shenanigans afoot. But my friends Eric and Jen Distad live just outside of Portland in Oregon, and they have converted one of their spare bedrooms into a recording studio. And they have a little kind of separate structure they built outside just this past year that is also a recording studio. And so I flew there in 2022 and could only be away from home and work so long. So the 12 days was like kind of a necessity.
Right.
And we recorded all of my guitar and banjo and ukulele and like vocal harmonies. And then I had friends come with me. Like my friend Jen flew from Indianapolis and we rented a harp for her. And my friend Sunny drove down from Seattle and brought her violin and viola. And so there were a few elements that we tracked there with my friends in the 12 days. But then after that, when we kind of had the tracks to a workable place, that's when we shipped them off to other people, like Mary in Alabama, who added clarinet and bass clarinet, and a Kat in Jefferson City, Tennessee, who added mandolin and octave mandolin, and Brenda in Indiana, who added Bowron, and Sally in Indiana, who added cajon. And so it wasn't fully done in 12 days. It was
Right.
mostly done, but it was kind of just necessity and desperation.
Yes. And it's so beautiful that you could collaborate like that. And thank you, technology.
Yeah.
Thank you, technology,
Yeah.
because before this kind of technology, there's no way that you could have done that.
No.
Everybody would have had to been there in that 12 days.
And while that would be very fun, their house is not quite that big.
No, right. That's a lot of people to cater to.
Yeah.
So you've performed everywhere from Seattle to Atlanta and to the UK. How did you build a touring career as an independent folk artist? And what did those early shows teach you?
So I would not say necessarily that I am a touring artist. All of those are spots as a guest at a Filk convention. So at a convention, typically there's like a guest of honor. There's a Toastmaster who is like kind of the MC and also has a concert. And then there's like an interfilk guest, which is a Filk-wide nonprofit that kind of cross-pollinates Filk. So they will take kind of newer, undiscovered people from somewhere and put them somewhere else to kind
Yeah.
of mix things up. So that's how I've played all these places. I've been interfilk guest at a convention in Seattle. I was toast at a convention in the Bay Area, and then went back to that same convention a few years later as like a fan fund guest. Like they really wanted me there, so they just raised money to get me there. I was international guest of honor at the UK FilkCon. I've been toast at a Filk in Atlanta and a Filk in Columbus, Ohio. So that's kind of how that has happened. And Filk basically, like, they pay for your travel costs and they cover your hotel
Yeah.
and your membership. And so it's not necessarily a paid gig unless you can like sell CDs. And the cool thing about Filkers is they love CDs. They love physical media. And that is still very much like the culture of this community is buying CDs from people and listening to them that way.
That's so awesome. I can't believe I've never heard of Phil because it sounds right up my alley. I love D&D.
Oh, there are so many D&D songs.
Love D&D. I love magic.
Yeah.
I mean, and Star Wars, Star Trek, all of them. I'm very sad that we lost Lost in Space. They canceled it. I'm very sad. But I love that show too. So I'm very surprised that I didn't hear about it yet. I'm going to have to look into that
It's so
more.
fun.
It sounds awesome. So you're 1/4 of the Starlight Darlins.
Mhm.
How did that collaboration come together? And what does that band give you that your solo work cannot?
In 2021, this was yet again a Filk thing, kind of another Filk nonprofit wanted to send a couple of songwriters to a songwriting class kind of retreat taught by John McCutcheon, who's like a big kind of in the same vein as like Pete Seeger and like the good like folk protest singers of the 60s and 70s. That's kind of when he started. And he's still, he does a lot of stuff with Tom Paxton. He's still touring, he's still playing a lot of shows. But Filk sent me and my friend Kat, who got me into Filk, to this songwriting camp in Highlands, North Carolina. And while I was there, I met two people named Emily and Sage. And there were kind of like, there was a split between all of the boomers and like all of the kids in their 20s and 30s.
Yeah.
And so there were 6 of us, and we would stay up way later than everyone else and just talk songs and talk shop. And I really fell in love with Emily and Sage's songwriting in particular. And Emily said, "Hey, there's this festival we go to every year in Kansas, and you and Sage should come. It sounds like a lot of fun to have y'all there, and I think y'all would like it." So we said, "Okay." And we showed up at Winfield, which is Walnut Valley Festival that happens in Winfield, Kansas. That's why it's called that. The next year, and Emily had a friend there named Gray who played fiddle, Emily and Gray grew up doing old time together. And so we kind of just like did little song circles, and we would start harmonizing on each other's songs. And we were like, "Oh, this is kind of fun." So we played a little show on the campground stage, stage 11, that Emily's parents help run. And that's kind of how the Starlight Darlins started. We formed, we played that show, and we had another friend there who has like this portable recording studio in a wagon. And so 3 days after becoming a band, we cut our first live EP at the festival in the wagon. And ever since then, we have kind of we live fairly far apart. Closer now. Sage used to be in Oregon, and now they're in Asheville. I'm in East Tennessee. Gray is in Morgantown, West Virginia. Emily was in Brooklyn, but now she is also in Morgantown, West Virginia. So we've gone from separate time zones to like 12 hours apart to now like 6.5. So we're getting closer. But usually to do shows or practice, we all have to converge upon
Yeah.
one area and then do a really intensive practice and then do shows there. We did like a little mini tour with some shows in Kansas City, and then a show in Pittsburgh, a show in Morgantown, and a show in Knoxville. And then a couple years after that, we did a mini tour in the Pacific Northwest where Sage is from, and we had 3 or 4 shows up in that area. So that's kind of what we've done so far. And with the Darlins, like I I have ADHD. And so tasks are hard.
Yes.
And despite all 3 other Darlins having ADHD or autism or both, like between the 4 of us, there's like enough of a brain cell that we can all pass around to where we can kind of get stuff done. Like it's so much easier when there are other people to hold you accountable. Cause like I will disappoint myself and let myself down all day, every day.
Yeah.
But I will not disappoint my friends.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, I completely understand that. So, what was the moment you realized you were building something real with your music?
It's been late night song circles where at a Filk convention where I'll do a song and then after that someone else will kind of pull out a song that they don't really pull out super often that's maybe a little scary for them, and we kind of get on this really open, vulnerable sharing wavelength and just conversations with people after I play songs and having them tell me like, I've never really heard this situation or this feeling captured in music kind of made me realize that I'm maybe doing something
Yeah.
really. So yeah, it's been talking with close friends and acquaintances and in between friends and just having people tell me unprompted what these things mean to them.
Yeah. And that's beautiful. You can't pay for that.
No.
You can't. And it's an incredible feeling. And to be so many places and to have played so many festivals and been in so many different rooms, the fact that that still happens everywhere you go, it's just awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, what do you think about letting everybody hear some of your music?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Can we do it?
Welcome back. You just listened to some of Lauren Oxford's originals. Make sure you go down into the show notes and you check out more of her music and give her some love. All right, let's talk about your hurdles because we've all had those.
Oh, yeah.
You have been described as wielding vulnerability like a beacon of light. How do you actually do that? And does it ever scare you to be that open?
I feel like with everything that I've been through in my life, one of 2 things could have happened. Either I clammed up and buried all of my emotions and just never talked about anything and kind of strong silent typed it, or I did what I did, which is like overshare at the drop of a hat with totally random strangers.
Yes.
And that's just like that's kind of my MO. Like it's a bit of a notorious thing about me that I'll just be like, "Hi, I just met you. I went no contact with my mom like at the end of March. Like, do you have any issues with your parents?" Like it's just so I don't really know. I don't know how to not
Yeah.
do that. And I also know that like that is not everyone's cup of tea. Not everyone is ready for that. And so I always kind of try and when I'm performing give a little warning just like, "Hey, if this is, not something you want to interact with right now, like totally understand. That's totally cool." It it never ever scares me to be that open. It would scare me more if I couldn't
Yeah.
do that. Yeah, that is I don't know if it's a defense mechanism or what, but that is just how I operate.
Yeah. I really like that you can, what you see is what you get.
Yeah.
Lauren Oxford. That's a beautiful thing. And a lot of people aren't comfortable being that open. And it's a shame.
Yeah.
That's how we connect. That's how we heal. That's how we help each other. So I really appreciate that. One of your songs, Paint Myself Trying, was called perhaps the most brutally honest song about mental health struggles in a decade. What does it mean to put something that personal into the world, and how do you handle people's responses to it?
The thing about my music is that it's just as cathartic for me to perform it than it is, hopefully, for someone to hear it. That song talks a lot about like self doubt and kind of trying to let other people love you and not reject it because you think you're bad. It feels like I can kind of look at this song and be like, you know, I'm sure in 20 years I will very much so see this as like an artifact of my late 20s, but people still find things in it that they relate to, or they know someone who kind of has these struggles. And usually after I perform that one, there's just kind of like there's like a breath before people clap or whatever. Uh,
Yeah.
if I say it feels like a gift to be able to do this, then that to me is like I'm not trying to like put myself on a pedestal, but I don't think everyone has the ability to do what I do. Just like there are things other musicians do that I do not have the ability to do. Like I've tried so many times to write songs that are like a story song just about like a random person made up character.
Yeah.
I can't do that.
Very
Like
good.
my songs have to be rooted in something personal, and I'm trying to work on that because like that is a limitation. Like I would like to be able to do multiple things, but for now where I am, this is what I can do and I can do it well. And so I'm going to keep doing that because I've seen and had conversations with people who find that it means a lot to them.
What has been the hardest part of building a career as an independent folk artist, and how did you work through it?
So I would say calling my career independent folk artist is not necessarily accurate. I have like a part-time job
Yeah.
that I work to kind of pay the bills, and I do music stuff on the side. And I'm at a point where I can go to my film conventions and play shows that way, but as far as booking things for me solo, like that's kind of the roadblock I'm at and trying to figure out. Being in the Starlight Darlins is super helpful because there's three other people with contacts and resources and brain power, and so kind of playing shows as the Darlins is one thing. And I don't necessarily want to use that as like the coattails I ride on to a side career. Like I want both of them to exist independent of each other and both flourishing. But it's I feel like I shoot myself in the foot a little bit because my music is not a great soundtrack to like be background music at a bar. You know?
Yeah.
Like people just want to go drink a beer and not listen to someone like wailing about my mom sucks. Like
Right.
they're just there to have a good time.
Yeah, and with a lot of them, they just wanna drink and not feel their feelings,
Yeah.
and your songs touch deep in someone's heart and soul.
Yeah.
If they can connect with that while they're drinking, it's gonna turn into, "There's a tear in my beer."
Yeah. My music is definitely suited to like listening rooms and house concerts. And that is kind of more of the avenue I would like to pursue as far as booking shows goes. But big task, scary.
Yeah,
Uh, Reaching out to people hard.
yeah,
Yeah. That's kind of I would say right now music is it's not just a hobby, but it is not quite a career. It's
right.
kind of somewhere in this weird middle ground at the moment. And I'm hoping that my second album that I'm recording next month will kind of provide some impetus and like give me a bit of a kick in the pants that I need.
I think it will, especially after seeing you have your Kickstarter. and how well you did with that and how quickly you met your goal. That is incredible.
Yeah.
That is incredible. And the fact that that happened, I think it should prove to you that you got something. If I'm just being honest, that should prove to you that what you have is really special and it's something that you really need to pursue.
Yeah.
So I think this second album will be the kick in the pants.
I hope so.
I think it will. Have you ever considered walking away entirely from
Oh, yeah.
music?
Oh, yeah. Who hasn't?
Right.
Like any musician, it's part of the process.
It is.
I mean, I've never thought about walking away from music entirely. Like, regardless of whether it is a career or just something I do for fun on the side, it will always be a part of my life. But there have been so many moments where I worry a lot that I am not the kind of person who has what it takes to like really put my nose to that grindstone and go after something. Like I'm a very go with the flow, like I'm not a super ambitious person. Like I feel like to make it as an independent musician, especially in this day and age with how hard it is to make money at it, like you really have to have this grit and this gumption and just the ability to be like self-possessed and self-sustaining and push and push and push, and that's just not my personality, and that's part of why doing things in a band is a lot easier because there's other people to hold you accountable
Oh,
and
yes.
other people to lean on. Doing that as a solo artist is really, really hard.
It really is.
And there's a lot of times where I've been like, I don't think I have what it takes. Like, should I just do this as a hobby and stop trying to kind of make it a profitable career thing? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I hope you don't give up, but I completely understand because I never wanted to be a solo artist. That is why I have the band.
Mhm.
And when I first started, well, this time I won't say when I first started, because when I first started, it was like open mic nights, and somebody would play and I would sing, you know. But when it came to dessert, I looked at my husband one day and was like, "Hey, I wrote these songs. I want a band." And he was like, "Okay," and we went for it. If it wasn't for him and the band, I would be at home sewing, I would be crocheting, working another type of job, and this would not be happening. I would not be at your table right now.
I mean, I am all for sewing and crocheting and knitting. Like,
Yes,
that's cool as hell.
let's do it.
Yeah.
But
But also,
but also we have the music of it all.
yeah.
What does creative burnout look like for you, and how do you come back from it?
In a weird way, I wouldn't say that I exist in a permanent state of creative burnout. I would say that I'm not a prolific writer. I am not someone who has a practice as far as writing goes. I kind of just I will get an idea or I will get struck with inspiration and I will write something, but I'm lucky to get like 2 or 3 songs a year,
Yeah.
2 or 3 new songs a year. And it's not necessarily that I am like burnt out. I just existing in this world is so hard that like being creative is it's a cyclical thing. It takes energy, but it gives you back energy. But like pulling from so deep within does take a lot. And
Yes.
it's not like I just have this endless well to pull from. It has to replenish. Like time has to pass. Other things have to happen for me to then again be able to plumb the depths. I would say when I feel the most creatively burnt out is when I have a deadline approaching for something I don't want to do.
Yeah.
Deadlines are so important for me to do anything, and also they are like my worst enemy and can very easily kind of trip over the line into this is actually a bad thing.
Yeah.
So it's really hard trying to figure out exactly where that line is. Like, and also, working another job in addition to music, like
Yeah.
my job, like I am on my feet for 8 hours on like tile floors. And when
Yeah.
I get home, I'm just like really physically tired.
Exhausted. Yeah.
And I get home at, 10 p.m. and my wife is home and I haven't seen her all day and I want to catch up with her and we like want to watch TV and I kind of just want to let my brain leak out of my ears a little bit.
Yes.
And so to come home from a job and then like do more music and more work on top of it is just like, I am not that kind of person.
Yeah.
I'm not the I don't know, grind set, whatever. I'm not a bootstrapper.
I definitely get that. Sometimes I'm like, I clearly hate myself because I just do this. This is like rehearsal, podcast, family. I have kids. I have a dog. I have a husband. I have all these things. Like, I don't really hate myself, but sometimes I'm like, do I hate myself?
Like, why am I doing this to myself? Like, why?
Why?
Yeah.
It takes me and my husband like 3 weeks to watch an 8-show TV show. Sometimes it takes a month.
Wow.
Sometimes we don't even get that. Like when we go on tour, preparation for that, like we don't even get to sit down and do that together. So you're just like, I clearly hate all of this.
Yeah.
So I totally get it. I get it. Sometimes you do just want to sit down and relax and not have to be creative.
Yeah.
Like you said, brain.
Yeah. And I know that's like what it takes to have a music career. And I'm like, that's not me. And so I'm kind of left with this question of like, is this even a thing I can do?
Do I want to do
Yes.
that kind of commitment? Yeah. Well, trust me, I know.
It's maybe not great for the podcast that like that's where I currently am at the moment. I gotta be honest.
Well, and that's the beauty of it, I've found, because everybody that I've talked to so far, we're all in different phases of where we're at, not just in life, but in our careers and what we've been through and where we want to go and where we don't want to go. Like we all want so many different things. I think it's going to be beautiful to be able to include those things and let people know like it's okay to feel like this because there are other people that feel that way too. I mean, just like you do with music.
Yeah.
You allow the space for people to breathe and think and feel and connect, and I think it'll ring that way on when it airs too.
I hope so.
I think so. I don't think you give yourself enough credit.
Yeah, I never do.
We're all our worst critics anyway. How do you handle criticism or the pressure of putting deeply personal music out into the world?
It's more about the self-criticism than anyone else's. I mean, I have kind of made sure to surround myself with some pretty fucking incredible communities.
Yeah.
And they are nothing but supportive and giving and encouraging and wondrous. All the criticism comes pretty squarely from myself.
Yeah.
And I, you know, people say like we're all our own worst critics. There have to be people out there who aren't, but they're probably men.
Or narcissists
Yeah.
that absolutely love themselves.
Yeah.
I can't imagine living life like that.
I can't either. It's the self-criticism that's the worst. It's the like, do people even like, why do people care? Like I'm writing such personal things. Like why would they give enough of a shit about me to like listen and tune in? And obviously when they do, like there's much universal to be found in the personal, but it's hard sometimes, especially thinking about making a career of it, knowing that what I do is so niche. Like I am writing and creating and making music to a very small but deep subset of people.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel in a lot of cases to make a sustainable career, you need to have broad and wide appeal. And that is just not ever something I'm going to do. So it's like, how do I find the people who want to find this kind of music.
Right. That target audience.
Yeah.
That makes perfect sense. Speaking of your niche audience, do you want to let everybody hear some Starlight Darlins?
I would love that.
Can we do it?
Welcome back. That was absolutely lovely to listen to some Starlight Darlins. Let's jump into the business side of things. Oh, goodness. I know. You also do album design and photography alongside your music career. How do those visual creative skills feed your musical work and vice versa?
So I feel those things are very much wrapped up in my connection with and belonging to the folk community. Like
Yeah.
I've done the photography for my friend Summer Russell and her album Courage Dear Heart. I've done the photography and album design both for my friend Jen Midkiff and her album Finding My Balance. I've done photography and album design for my friend Eric Distat and his album The Other Side. I've done it for my friends Natalie and Shar, who are a duo called Infilction for their album Abandoned by Fortune. Like I've done it for the Darlins. I've done it for Emily. It's very much like I haven't really worked with like a stranger yet. It's kind of like a friend thing.
Yeah.
And a big part of Filk is kind of this gift economy we have of like, you know, people will come in and people will contribute an instrumental thing, and then you like send them something in return whenever they need
Yeah.
it. And
Bartering.
yeah, there's been a couple of cases where I've like been paid for the photography and the album design, and then there's been cases where it's like my friend recorded me, so I'm just gonna do this.
Yeah.
And my degree is actually in photography. So I am like a very visual person, and I'm really not an auditory processor at all. So it's like kind of wild that music has been the thing that I've fallen into, but I always like when I'm writing a song, I'm always thinking about the imagery of the lyrics. And I am also always thinking about the imagery of the music, just like the chords and the flow and the melody and kind of how that bolsters the lyrics. And then I am also thinking about like, as part of a collection on an album or as a single, like what is the image or the kind of art that would represent this.
Yeah.
And so that visual aspect is very much tied into the whole creative process.
You're painting a picture.
Yeah.
Is what you're doing.
Yeah.
That's incredible. That is incredible.
Thanks.
And what a colorful way to really apply your brain to music.
Yeah.
That's really
I'm
cool.
kind of like, making it do
Yeah.
what I need it to do.
Yeah. That's really cool. See, and my brain doesn't work like that.
Mm.
It doesn't work like that at all. So that's really cool to think about.
For my second album that I'm doing, it's kind of a concept album, which helps, but I knew immediately thinking about this album, like kind of what I want the photo shoot to be like what I want on the cover. I kind of know the color palette. I kind of know the vibe I'm shooting for. And I don't know if that necessarily helps or contributes anything. Like it's cool,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I think just having like, it's kind of like a mental vision board of the whole thing. You have how it sounds, you have how it looks, you have like the feelings around it. It's kind of this big smorgasbord.
That's really awesome, though. I love that. You won the 2025 New Song Showcase at the Walnut Valley Festival. What did that recognition do for your career, and how do you approach entering competitions like showcases?
So that was Winfield, which is the Walnut Valley Festival. There's a new song competition every year. There are quite a few categories. I think like 7 or 8 categories, and they have they have 2 winners and 2 alternates. So the 2 winners are like first place and the 2 alternates are second place. And I've like submitted every year for that. And I submitted this year and I actually got an alternate with my song. And then the way it works is that whoever the alternates and the winners are, they perform them. There's a performance on Thursday and there's a performance on Saturday. So you have the Thursday winner, the Thursday alternate, and then you have the Saturday winner and the Saturday alternate. And I think I was the Thursday alternate, and the Thursday first place winner did not show up. And so if someone doesn't show up, the alternate becomes the winner.
Right.
So I kind of won it by technicality. But as far as like what that has done for my career, it's not a huge thing. It's a cool little feather in the cap, but I mean, I don't know if it had anything to do with the fact that the Starlight Darlins are officially playing Winfield this year. Like, we're on the bill, we're getting paid, we are like part of the festival. I think there's a lot of factors that go into that, but I don't know. It's kind of cool to think that like maybe winning that will competition is part of it. I've entered others. I enter Curval New Folk every year. I've entered other songwriting competitions. There's actually within the Filk community, there's something called the Pegasus Awards, and there are always like 6 or 7 different categories. There's best folk song, best classic folk song, which has to be at least a decade old, best writer composer, best performer, and then there's 2 floating categories that change every year, like best humor song or best scary song or best critter song. And so I've been nominated for best writer composer, I think 2018, 2019, 2021. I've been nominated like 4 or 5 times, but in 2023 I won best writer composer. And that to me is the greatest honor because it's all community driven. Like, Filkers come up with a brainstorming poll of people, and then people kind of go from that and nominate. And so it's actual people who know me and my music in the community saying like, we want this person to be one of the 5 who's on the ballot this year. And that means more to me than, I don't know, any other competition. I mean, getting into New Folk would be pretty cool because that is kind of a career launcher, but it's an honor to have your community really see you.
Yeah. That's incredible.
Especially when what you do is not necessarily Filk the genre.
Yeah. Yeah. And I can see why that would be such a great honor because you've built these relationships with all these people.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. I'm jealous.
And it makes it so hard because when you go to vote, it's like all 30 of these people are like dear friends of mine. Like, how do I pick between like Beth Kinderman and John McDade? Like, oh, I love both of their songwriting. It's so hard we kind of all like torture ourselves with it a little bit.
I'm sure because, right, how do you pick?
When you know intimately as friends everyone on the ballot, it's like picking your favorite child. Except picking your favorite friend.
That's hard.
Sometimes I close my eyes and just tap.
Right. Because what else do you do?
Yeah.
Make a little spinny wheel?
I could live too. Or would I?
Ooh, that would be good. Who would be Nat 20 though? That's the question.
Even Nat 20.
What is one piece of advice that you wish somebody gave you way early in your career?
Join a band.
Yes.
Like, don't try to do this on your own. It's not gonna work. Like, lean on other people.
Yeah. Everything's better in numbers.
Yeah.
2, 4, 6, 8 heads are always better than just one. So I feel that. How different Words. How different do you think it would have been if you had like just started with a band?
I don't know. It's hard to know because I like I said, fell into songwriting and that kind of music a bit in college when I met my friend Kat. Actually, when I met Kat as a student, there's like a 35-ish year gap between us. Like it's very much one of my most cherished intergenerational friendships, of which there are many.
Yeah.
And when I met her, she was playing with another guy named Ed who played banjo at the library every week. And she was like, Ed and I sometimes jam. And like, maybe you can come and jam with us. So I started doing that. And then we had a couple other people join the jam. And then another guy joined the jam. And like, at one point, we became a little band called Yonder and Back. And we played like a couple of little shows, but it was mostly just like a hangout time at the creek in Jefferson City. We would do like a little open mic night,
Yeah.
but I don't think that any of us ever thought that that would continue because like I was in college and then I was gonna like move and go somewhere else. And I don't know if I had joined some other kind of band that like really wanted to be a band and continue being a band and like set its sights on making it, I probably would have done that. But the thing is, I my strength is definitely as a songwriter. Like I can fake it on guitar with the alternate tunings, but I do the alternate tunings because I really don't know what I'm doing and it's kind of easier than anything else. Like I would not call myself like a gifted instrumentalist by any means. It's kind of a mean to an end. I'm an okay vocalist. Some, formal training might do me good, but I don't really know like I guess other than vocalist in a band what my position might have been. I've found it in the Darlins playing Bowron, which is like an Irish frame drum. I'm trying to get better at that to live up to how good at their instruments the other three of my bandmates are. Yeah, it would have looked different. I don't know if I would have been able to delve as much into the really personal songwriting because something that I run into with the Darlins is that there are pretty distinctly Lauren Oxford songs, and those aren't necessarily Starlight Darlins songs.
Yes.
And so I think if I would have been like a vocalist or a songwriter in a band, I would have been having to write different songs. And I don't think it would have led to this very like excavating kind of confessional songwriting that I do.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think that that's where my strength is.
Yeah, I totally understand that. And I feel you about the instrumentalist part because everybody in my band can play like everything. And there I am, like, I know like 6 chords on guitar.
That's all you need for most songs.
It is, unless you're playing with them. Unless you're playing with them.
And then you're like, go crazy, y'all.
There's a reason you all play the instruments and I sing and dance.
At the same time? That's hard. That's a gift.
I don't like to play and sing.
Mm.
I have an acoustic and
It's hard.
it's so hard. It's so hard. And I feel like I don't sing as well because my brain's going, no, you need to do all these things.
I'm the exact same way. It's like if I'm doing both at the same time, I am not doing either as well as I could be if
Yeah.
I was doing them separately.
Yeah. It's like you said, you're sugaring a brain cell with your bandmates. I don't have enough of that brain cell to sing and play at the same time. I don't get it.
It's very hard for me too.
And how people play drums and sing, that's your whole body.
That's what I do with the Darlins. It's not like a drum set, but sometimes I like when I'm singing with the Darlins, I have to go to just like straight quarter notes because I can't do any of the complicated stuff and sing at the same time.
I commend you.
Phil Collins, you're amazing.
Incredible. Incredible. I don't know how people do it. So, what do you think about introducing us to some independent artists?
I would love nothing more than to do that because even more so than writing or playing music, I would say my number one hobby is listening to music. So get ready.
Can we do it?
Welcome back. Thank you so much for introducing us to some independent artists that you love very much. And I hope that everyone enjoyed it as much as we did. So, to thank you for being on the show, I'm going to put you right in the hot seat.
Sign me up. Let's go.
So, for those of you who do not know, the hot seat is a this or that, yes or no, or short answer question game where my guest answers as quickly as humanly possible. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Solo artist or the Starlight Darlins?
No, I genuinely don't know that one. I I I really I don't think I can answer that one because like I don't know. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Right. You're like, ah,
Yeah,
I get it. Guitar or another instrument?
guitar, I guess. Reluctantly guitar.
I know the answer to this. I'm sure everyone else does too. Alternate tunings or standard?
Alternate tunings.
Every day. Studio or stage?
Another one that's like, there's such different purposes. Stage is for the connecting to people, but studio is for the representing what it's like in my head. Stagio. Stooge.
I'll take it.
Stooge is my answer.
Stooge. Lush arrangements or stripped back acoustic?
Lush arrangements.
Folk or Appalachian?
Well, if you want to get into like, you know, the musicology side of it, those are kind of the same thing. Like folk music is just music of the people. Folk as a genre, as we think of it now, of like, someone singing about something sad with like an acoustic guitar is very much like it's kind of how indie has become a genre rather than a description of someone who is not affiliated with a record label. So in Appalachia, Appalachians making music, like that is folk music.
Yeah.
So maybe that's like a nerd technicality, but like, yes.
Both, yes.
Yeah. I'm sorry some of these are both. I feel like I'm really copping out on you.
I get it though. I don't know that I would last in my hot seat. I don't know because I've asked people some really difficult questions, and after we're done, they're like, "Why would you ask me that?" Performing or songwriting?
You can't have one without the other. Like the process of songwriting is how for how introspective, quote unquote, of a person I am not actually introspective. When I write a song, it's kind of because I'm trying to figure out how I feel about something, and I will write a whole ass song and then have to look at it and be like, what does this mean? And I'm like literally exploring my psyche. And so songwriting is kind of how I process things that aren't necessarily known to me yet. But also what I am trying to do with my songwriting is connect with other people, which requires performing. So like that just feels like, picking a point of the circle where it begins and ends. Like it's just it's one circle.
It definitely is. It is for me too. Seattle or East Tennessee?
East Tennessee.
The song you're most proud of writing?
There's like there's from a musical standpoint, there's from a lyrical standpoint, there's from a connecting with people standpoint, there's from a like how difficult this was to turn into a song. I think the song I'm lyrically most proud of is What Rings True. I think the song I'm musically most proud of is maybe I Know What I Know. I think the song I'm most proud of that connects with people is Paint Myself Trying. And was there another one? If there was, I already forgot.
Connecting with people.
That one's Paint Myself Trying.
And then lyrically and musically. Was there another one?
Oh, the one that was most difficult to
Yes.
pull from and turn into a song is probably it's the one I need to write that I haven't written yet. Like my second album is kind of a concept album. The first part of it, there are going to be at least 5 songs, is what I'm calling the Mama Trauma Suite, where I explore that very complicated relationship with my mom, and that's kind of focusing on like what has happened in the past. And then the middle section is like the mental health songs, and that's kind of like the result of the past and where I currently am. And the last part of it is the love songs, and that's like what I want the future to be, what I'm working towards. And so I do need one more Mama Trauma song that connects to the now of the mental health songs. And that song is also going to be about going no contact with my mom. I haven't written it yet because like it needs to be so many things. It needs to it needs to serve a very specific purpose. And that's what I keep putting off. But I know that when I do it, that is going to be the one. But currently, I'd probably say my song, The Hunter.
What is a song you wish you had written?
Oh, which Joni Mitchell song should I pick? You're going to have to let me think about this one for a minute.
You got it.
My bandmate, Emily Johnson Erde, has a song called The Roses, and it is brilliant. It's astounding. It is so compassionate and scientifically sound, and I I wish that I had written The Roses.
Well, I'm gonna have to listen to it then.
And I would encourage any listeners to also listen to it. It's on her album, her EP, Druid Hymns.
What is a collaboration you dream about?
I would say if there's anything in the sphere of music that I have done right and well that I am proud of is the list of collaborators that I am lucky enough to work with. Like my dream collaborations are the ones that have already happened and will happen next month with my dearest, closest friends who also just so happen to be brilliant musicians.
Yeah. How wonderful. What is one thing most people do not know about you?
I feel like for people who only know me by my music or my songs, they might assume that I am like a very serious and kind of like heavy person. And I am the most irreverent, like wacky, kind of balls to the wall, zany weirdo. And I feel like I don't know, when I perform for people, I always worry that I might give people whiplash because like you'll just get this really intense, like heavy, serious song. And then I'm like, sorry, my mom sucks. Blah. And I make some weird joke or say, like, wow, there is a literal bead of sweat running down the back of my leg right now and it itches. And also, I have to pee. And just like, it's Like people need the balance. They need the lighthearted with the serious.
Yeah.
I don't do the lighthearted in my music, but I absolutely do it in just who I am as a person. So people who only hear my music might not know that I am a total like cornball.
I would say that you're whimsical.
Oh,
I
yeah.
I think that
I feel pretty full of whimsy.
you seem very full of whimsy to me. So I love that.
And then for people who know that, who see me as very bubbly and whimsical and fun, they probably don't know that I am actually such a pessimist. Like it's really weird to be this bubbly and happy and effervescent and just be like, "Oh, I'm doing all of this like because we're absolutely fucked and like climate change is going to wreck our shit and in 10 years we're all going to be rationing water and we're not going to be able to focus on music. We're just going to be too busy focused on survival."
Oh yeah.
But I try not to bring the mood down unless someone else does it first and then I just crash it even harder.
Like you said.
We got to enjoy it while we can because it is certainly not going to be forever.
So long and thanks for the fish.
Yeah. Ooh. Sorry, let's let him
Yeah,
do his business in the
you
little
have
house.
your moments. Or I love your cat shoes.
Thank you.
Those are cute.
I got those in high school, college.
I love
They're
that.
pretty fun.
I know. I know.
Good boy.
Such a sweet baby.
He likes a pat right at the base of his tail on top of his back, like a little. That's his
Oh
favorite.
yeah. He said,
He's a weirdo. He's hungry.
Lauren, what is the single most important piece of advice you would give to an independent artist who is just starting out?
Find your community and lock the fuck in. I could not be a stronger proponent of the idea that you get out what you put into something.
Yeah.
And if you put genuinely a lot of yourself, a lot of your heart, a lot of your time into a community of people, you will be blown away by what those people choose to give back to you. I would not be where I am, who I am without the Filk community, without like internet friends that I'm in a Discord server with, without people on this clothing swap app, Lucky Sweater, that I'm part of. Like I feel so privileged to be part of the most incredible communities in the world. And like without them, I don't know who I am, but with them, I am me.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much for being on Creative Evolution and inviting me to your home to sit at your table with you, to share your whimsy, to share your pessimism, and to talk about just what we've been through as artists.
This was so much fun. I really loved doing this, and I am honored that you came all the way out here and chose to let me yap at you for a couple hours.
Well, I've enjoyed the yapping too. Where can everyone find you?
Everyone can find my music on all of the streaming services. I'm Lauren Oxford. I have an Instagram at Lauren Oxford Music. I don't like going on Instagram because it makes my brain feel bad. If you are into clothes and fashion and like community and dressing up, I would highly recommend the app Lucky Sweater. It's like a clothing swap app. I'm most active there, honestly. And like most of what I'm wearing today is from there. So I'm also on Facebook, Lauren Oxford. You can find the Starlight Darlins too on Facebook, the Starlight Darlins, and on Instagram at the Starlight Darlins. All our music's on streaming. So let's get into places.
I love it. Thank you so much. And to everyone listening, go check out the description to find all the links for everybody that we featured during today's episode. Remember, you can't release what you will not finish, and you can't finish what you won't start. As always, I'm Josi J, and until next week, your time to evolve starts right now.
Can we do it?